Hey guys, it's Lauren from Career Contessa here in the Career Contessa office, back with another Mentor Monday. This is actually the last Mentor Monday of 2017. So thank you everyone who's been joining week after week. If you're brand new to Mentor Monday is something that we do every week at Career Contessa where we answer your career questions, and most of the questions that we answer have been submitted to us beforehand via DM. But if you join us live, feel free to leave comments and I'll answer your questions as well. We usually have these last anywhere between 15 to 20 minutes, sometimes less, just depending on how many people join live and how much participation we have. So we've got some more good questions. You guys are never short on great career questions to ask. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Lauren McGoodwin and I'm the founder and CEO at Career Contessa. Okay, so let's jump right into it, and you guys can ask questions or feel free to chime in with your own advice. I always would love to get other people to offer advice if they have the same experience. So the first question comes from someone said, I work at a private foundation and I want to transition to corporate side. So I did a micro consulting project 3 weeks long for a corporate foundation. How do I represent this in my resume? In short, it was short and I did it on the side, so I'm not sure where in the resume I should go. So if you know that you want to work in the corporate side and you just had this corporate experience, underneath the word experience, I would go ahead and put that up at the very top. The reason why I'm perfectly fine with seeing things like a side project up at the very top is because we're calling that section experience. And if you want to get more specific, you could call that section relevant experience, especially since that's probably the most relevant project that you've done that relates to the jobs that you're applying to next. When it comes to your LinkedIn, you might want to put it either under experience, or you might want to put it under education if you took that through some online school or I don't know, like an extension course at some college or anything like that. So definitely, I think there's no problem putting it up at the very top, and then you would have your full-time job right below that. Okay, another person said, this person said, if you have multiple people that you are reporting to, what is the best way to say no to a project without something sounding negative? I don't have actual clients I will have to help out with. So look, I think if you're being asked to do a project at work and it's just not your cup of tea, I think the best thing to do is to have a really direct and honest communication with the people or the project leader. It's really great when you are working with a bunch of people to have kind of that designated project manager who's the person that you can go to when there's problems, who's the person that you can go to when you guys are disagreeing on something. So that's what I would recommend, is just have some private conversation with someone and say, look, I think what you guys are working on is fantastic. I personally don't think it relates very well to my strengths. I would love to see if I could help out in another way that isn't this XYZ job. So that's a nice way of saying basically, no, I don't want to do that, but I want to offer a solution on how we can still make this work. Okay, another person, you guys have lots of questions tonight, I love it. Another person said, hi, I'm struggling finding my first job. I have a job offer with a company that isn't in what I studied and isn't what I want to be doing, but need a job. Should I take it and still search? So, Danny, I totally feel you. I took my first job out of college. Actually, the first few jobs out of college I took, they were not my favorite thing in the entire world, but I learned a lot from them. And so I actually think that it's not a bad idea to take that job and then continue your search. One, depending on who you talk to, it can be definitely easier to find a new job when you already have a job. Also, you actually will learn a lot in your first job. Things like professional etiquette, things like how to take on extra responsibilities, even small stuff like how to work the fax machine, how to respond to emails and email etiquette, and how to manage that email system. All those are really actually important things that you learn in your first job. So what I would encourage you to do is make a deal with yourself. If you take that first job, what are you going to continue to do to make progress in your career to help you figure out what it is that you do want to do or what company you do want to work for? So maybe that's the best thing you can do, is make a deal with yourself. And maybe that's setting goals. Like, what do you want to accomplish in the next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months? And if you do go work for that company, I would highly, highly encourage you to network with other people at that company. Start to learn about other departments and things like that while you are in the opportunity of having that, first job. Okay, awesome. Okay, so the next question that came through in a DM beforehand said, with 13 years of sales experience, I recently got let go from my job after being there for 5 years. For my next role, I'd like to work on brand partnerships. How do I make that transition? So something you guys, if you've joined Mentor Mondays in the past, we get a lot of questions about career transitions. So this is actually fantastic because if you've been working in sales, sales is such a natural part of any job, especially brand partnerships. So I think you actually have a little bit easier time transitioning to that, but it's all in the story that you tell. So the first thing I would do is find some people who are working in brand partnerships and figure out what exactly that means, because that can mean different things at different companies. So find 5 people who work in brand partnerships to have informational interviews with. From those informational interviews, see if you can narrow down some common themes or skills that you've heard all of them say. You also can feel free to ask them like, hey, how did you get your job? What's the best way to get a job in brand partnerships? They might tell you that it's through referrals, or they might say, hey, if you apply to that company as a coordinator or as something more entry level, whatever. But you won't know until you start talking to people who are working in brand partnerships. So that's my first recommendation. My next recommendation is, if you want to transition into brand partnerships, is start finding job descriptions of jobs that you're really excited about that are in what you think you want to apply for, and then find more job descriptions. What are the common themes and skills that all those job descriptions are saying as well? So then you can go ahead and add that information to your resume and your LinkedIn, and you'll start to show the storyline or start to brand yourself as a sales professional who is transitioning into brand partnerships. Okay, another person, any more questions that have come on live? Okay, cool. I'm just gonna move this for 1 second. Another person said, if you have a great job that you're extremely happy with, but you get a call from a recruiter with a really great job who wants to meet you, do you meet to get some more detail or stay put? Look, I think that's such a personal decision. If you are super, super happy in your current job and you don't really want to meet the recruiter, what you can say is, look, I really appreciate you reaching out to me. Right now, I'm happy where I'm at. Could we touch base in a year from now? And what that does is it allows them to basically, and especially if they're using something like LinkedIn Recruiter, there's actually a tool on there where they can kind of like mark you or tag you as a warm lead or someone who might be interested in to come back to you. So one, I would never ignore emails like that. I would always respond to them, but I would respond with either a thanks, but I'm really happy, can we circle back in a year? Or if you're really interested, go have the conversation. You never know, as many people say, what harm can come from a conversation, right? And it might actually be something that's really interesting to you. So, and you don't need to tell your boss or anything like that. This is something that's personal right now. You haven't made any decisions. You'll probably just kind of freak them out a little bit. So feel free to do that if that's something that you're interested in. But if you're truly really not interested and you don't want to spend the time doing it, don't worry, that's okay too. It's great to be happy in your job and to say, hey, the timing for this is just not right now. I think that's perfectly reasonable and acceptable. Okay guys, I've got one more question that came through. Feel free again to ask your questions live. And also I just want to let you guys know that we are downloading the replays of all the Instagram lives and putting them on our YouTube channel and on Facebook. So if you ever want to watch any of the repeats of old Mentor Mondays, or you want to watch this Mentor Monday after it expires, there's a couple options for you. Someone said, how do you advocate for yourself when it comes to your biannual or annual review? What do I talk about in such a meeting with my client reports? Look, we actually have a great worksheet on Career Contessa called Annual Career Assessment. So I'm not even gonna do this question justice because the worksheet is that good. Go download that worksheet. It's under professional development and then resources, annual career assessment. Download it, fill it out, and that will give you a really good idea on how you can think back on your progress over the last 365 days, what goals you want to accomplish moving forward. And that will really help you go into your annual review with some information that will really show off how dedicated you are to your career and how proactive. Okay, so another person asked, and this will be the last question, as a current college senior, what do you think is the best way of reaching out to your dream company? So if you are, whether you're a college senior looking for your dream company or you've been working in your career for 10, 15, 20 years and you're looking for your dream company, my advice is always the same. First, you need to figure out what are your career ideals. What is it when it comes to your career that's super, super important to you? Think about 5 things. We also have a worksheet on Career Contessa that can help you with this. It's called Figure Out Your Next Career Move, and it's under resources. download that and figure out what your career ideals are, and then research dream companies, or what I don't ever really call them dream companies, I call them target companies. Download your target companies, go online and research your target companies, whether that's LinkedIn, careercontessa.com, or under our company profiles. There's lots of resources out there that will help you, give you information about what company cultures and what companies actually offer. If, like, for example, perk is something that's really interesting to you, or focus for you. So that's what I would recommend, is figure out what your career ideals are, narrow down to the top 5 things you know are the most important thing for you to be successful, or something that you really want in your career, and then try to find companies that match that. That's always some great advice. I saw a couple more live questions come through. I find presentations very intimidating. How do you suggest I get better at them? Well, like most things that scare you, you get better with them with practice. So if you are really nervous presenting in front of your team, a good thing to do would start to present in front of smaller audiences more often. So maybe you present in front of just you and the intern, or maybe you join Toastmasters. I know that sounds really cheesy and like something people only did in the 1950s, but I've heard fantastic things about Toastmasters. The other thing about public speaking I find is, like I said, it's like a muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it, but the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Something for me that makes me feel much more confident when I'm making presentations is really feeling super prepared. So I practice saying things out loud. I have my presentation in front of me, really knowing my stuff and feeling like I've got this down cold, and whatever question comes at me, I'll be able to answer. Gives me a lot of confidence, and then I'm able to relay that back. But when you do practice, make sure you practice talking out loud, because that's usually the part where I find whenever I have like a microphone or I'm talking in front of a big group, usually it's the first few words I say kind of almost like surprise me or make me nervous a little bit. So that's what I would absolutely recommend, and you will get better at it. And also, I would say be kind to yourself. It is really tough for anyone to publicly speak. And the people who are great at public speaking have been doing it for years. So be kind to yourself. Do not beat yourself up afterwards. Give yourself a pat on the back for the fact that you haven't given up and that you're going to continue to do it. The first time I actually hosted a webinar on Career Contessa, it went terribly, and I didn't want to do them ever again, but I've stuck with it. And look, some go better than others, but I think what's really important is not giving up on something that scares you. Awesome. So it sounds like you guys are, someone just said, thanks, actually I just joined, my first meeting is in January. Oh, awesome, you joined Toastmasters. Well, you'll have to come back to Mentor Monday and let us know what you thought of it, because like I said, I've heard some really good things, even though I know it sounds kind of like an archaic thing. So one other person said, how do you overcome job acceptance remorse of accepting a good job that isn't exactly what you want, but you know you need to give 2 years to transition later? I think the way to make a job that you're not 100% thrilled at, even if you know it's a good job work for you, is go find that side hustle, whether that's something tangible. Like I find, because so much of my life is online, that one of the things that really helps me, and now I love my job, so like this might help even more for you, is having something you look forward to outside of work, whether that's a hobby that you, or a side hustle that you don't make money off of, or a side hustle that you do make money off of. And I think that's kind of where the line gets blurry, is people think, oh, I have to have a side hustle that makes money. No, just pick something that's really interesting to you. Maybe it's taking online classes. Maybe it's enrolling in a calligraphy class. Maybe it's yoga. Maybe it's something like running a marathon and you join a running group. Whatever it is, find something that you can do outside of work that keeps your creativity going and something that you're super excited about. And I think that will really help with sticking with a job for 2 years. And I find also those are hobbies I mentioned, but you could also be having informational interviews with people who are doing jobs that you think you'd be interested in, or networking with people at your company. So anyway, a couple good options there to help you stay motivated, even when you've got that ticking time bomb of 2 years at your job. Okay guys, that's gonna be it for this Mentor Monday. Like I said, last Mentor Monday of 2017. We will be back in 2018 with Mentor Monday. My name is Lauren McGoodwin. I'm the founder and CEO of Career Contessa, and I've really enjoyed spending my Monday evenings with you guys. If you have any recommendations on how you would like to see Mentor Monday change in 2018, you can send us a direct message on Instagram. You can email me, it's lauren@careercontessa.com. Would love to hear from you guys, and this is for you, so we want to make sure that you guys are getting the most out of it. Everybody enjoy their holiday, and then we'll get back on the career progress train in 2018. All right, guys, have a good one. Thanks again.